Commerce Alive Today presents
Gateway. Gateway was founded in 1985 by Ted Waitt, who had attended two different colleges before returning to his family's cattle farm in Sioux City, Iowa. After spending 9 months working at a computer store in Des Moines, Waitt felt that he had learned enough about the business of selling computers to allow him to carve out his own market niche. Waitt noticed that at the time computers tended to be either inexpensive models with extremely limited capabilities or top-of-the-line models with capabilities that few people would ever need. He decided that a middle path made more sense and devised a value equation, which stipulated that extra technology should not be added to a computer unless it provided extra value to a customer. In addition, Waitt observed in his retail job that computers could be sold over the phone by an educated salesperson. This led to the idea that overhead could be virtually eliminated. Because he had no money to invest in his new business, Waitt took over some empty space in a farmhouse that his father's shrinking cattle brokerage business had left empty, and moved in upstairs. Joining him in the business was Mike Hammond, the salesman who had trained him at his computer store job. In September 1985, aided by a $10,000 loan from Waitt's grandmother, the two started up a mail-order business that they called the TIPC network. Waitt was 22 years old. Placing advertisements in computer magazines, TIPC sold peripheral hardware and software to people who owned Texas Instrument computers. Because these computers did not conform to the IBM-compatible standard, some considered them obsolete, and many computer stores did not offer additional features for the machines once they had been sold. Waitt charged each of his customers a $20 membership fee, which gave him startup capital. Because his costs were so low, he and Hammond could undercut competitors' prices, and within 4 months, the fledgling business had racked up $100,000 in sales. 6 months after they started, Waitt's brother, Norman Waitt, Jr., bought half of the company and began to offer financial advice. Waitt's goal in starting the company had not been to sell computer accessories, but to sell computers themselves. In 1986, TIPC Network experimented with assembling its own computers, and even sold them to local customers. Nevertheless, these made only a small contribution to the company's first-year revenues of nearly $1 million. Also, that year, the company was incorporated as Gateway 2000, Inc. In mid-1987, however, Gateway was given an opportunity to break into the computer field when Texas Instruments inaugurated a program to let its buyers trade in their old machines for new, IBM-compatible units at a price of $3,500. Waitt and his partners decided that they could offer a similar IBM-compatible machine, put together from parts offered by other mail-order dealers, for less than half as much. Employing Waitt's value equation, and his sense of what customers would be willing to pay for, the company created a machine with 2 floppy disk drives of different sizes, a color monitor, a large memory, a keyboard with function keys, and a cursor keypad for $1,995. Gateway's competitors offered far fewer features for a similar price. With the introduction of this computer, Gateway's sales took off. In 1987, the company had revenues of $1.5 million. In the following year, Gateway's sales exploded, hitting $12 million. In expanding its product line beyond its initial Texas Instrument computer trade-in offer, Gateway eschewed research and development and a staff of designers. Instead, the company relied on Waitt's own sense of what customers would want. "We didn't do a whole lot of market research on it," Waitt told Inc. magazine. "A lot of it was instinctive." Hammond elaborated further, "The first question would always be, would I buy it?" He told Inc. "Everyone wants smaller, faster, cheaper, so it's a fairly educated guess." Gateway's clientele of sophisticated users did not make high demands for service or backup support and shopped on the basis of price. Accordingly, despite its rapidly increasing sales, Gateway was not forced to increase its overhead, and the company was able to keep its prices low. With its growth in sales, the company moved from the Waitt family farmhouse to a 5,000 square foot space in Sioux City's 100-year-old livestock exchange building, paying $350 a month in rent. The cow manure was cleaned from the building, and Gateway's new offices were furnished with used furniture. Because of Gateway's rural Midwestern location, Waitt discovered that he could pay his employees $5.50 an hour and experience virtually no turnover. In 1988, the company began to supplement these wages with monthly cash bonuses based on profits. Gateway's advertising, too, was cut rate, although effective. Eschewing the services of a professional advertising agency, the company's founders devised their own promotions. Gateway strove to present an image of reliability and trustworthiness to counteract customer fears that their low-priced products were being supplied by a fly-by-night outfit. In the company's first full-page ad, run in computer magazines in 1988, Gateway displayed a picture of Waitt's father's cattle herd, with the Sioux City water tower looming in the background. Playing on the novelty of the company's Midwestern location, the ad asked, "Computers from Iowa?" In this way, Gateway was able to remind customers that their products were manufactured in the United States. In addition, the ad stood out in a magazine filled with pictures of computers. Spurred by these promotional efforts, which consumed only 2.5% of company revenues, Gateway sales continued their meteoric rise, reaching $70.6 million in 1989. By that time, Gateway had expanded beyond the confines of its second office, and the company moved to North Sioux City, South Dakota, in January 1990. This location was selected in part because South Dakota collected no income taxes. In 1990, Waitt also hired an advertising manager, a local photographer, and a designer, and produced a series of eye-catching and humorous new Gateway ads that began appearing in computer magazines every few months to keep up momentum in the fast-changing industry. Rather than hiring models, the ads frequently featured company employees, particularly Waitt and his brother. An ad released in July 1990 showed Waitt dressed as an 1890s card shark, flashing a royal flush. Subsequent ads featured other company employees. One showed Gateway staffers standing in a pasture under the slogan, "We're outstanding in our field." In a nod to its history, and in an effort to further play up its rural roots, Gateway adopted a cow as its mascot. The company began to ship all its products in white boxes with black spots that looked like the markings on a Holstein. This black and white design also kept printing costs low. By the end of 1990, Gateway's revenues had nearly quadrupled from the previous year, to $275 million. In just 5 years, the company had grown in value an impressive 26,469%. This extremely rapid expansion brought problems of its own, and Gateway was forced to confront some of the consequences of its new size. "The biggest challenge for us right now," Waitt told Inc. in 1991, "is figuring out how to add the necessary bureaucracy without becoming slow-moving." To expand the company's executive pool, Gateway recruited 6 vice presidents from large computer makers and a public accounting firm to help mastermind the company's future growth. In addition, Gateway set up a number of new administrative branches. The company established a 20-member group to investigate new technology, and set up a roadmap group to evaluate choices. Waitt began meeting with 10 top assistants, known as the Action Group, every 2 weeks. Gateway hired a media buyer to systematize its advertising and established a 5-member marketing department, which evaluated customer satisfaction by conducting telephone interviews. To increase productivity in its manufacturing operations, Gateway built a new 44,000 square foot building down the road from its headquarters in the summer of 1991. In constructing this facility, Gateway stuck to its low-cost, no-frills philosophy to create the largest metal building I've ever seen. As Waitt told Marketing Computers, "It's a big ugly building, but it's very functional," he added. Inside this structure, Gateway reorganized its computer assembly workers into separate teams. This change was expected to increase output by 30%. Gateway also began an effort in 1991 to expand into corporate accounts. In the fall of 1991, the company began to run ads that showed a group of conservative executives huddled around a Gateway computer, with the slogan, "Because we've stood the test of time." To further shore up its image as a legitimate computer dealer, Gateway began to divulge some quarterly financial results, in the form of press releases. The company also began to offer the more extensive customer service that corporate clients required, including training programs and troubleshooting procedures. By the end of 1991, Gateway's sales had reached $626 million, and the company was named the fastest-growing private company in America by Inc. magazine. Gateway doubled the pace of its advertising schedule in the following year, releasing new promotions every month. Created by a 9-member in-house team, the ads ran in 9 different computer industry magazines, 2 of which were published weekly. The faster pace was designed to keep up with the company's release of new products and changes in price for old ones. With the vast increase in the volume of products it sold, Gateway had fallen somewhat behind in technological innovation. "We've been playing catch-up for the last 2 years, Waitt told Marketing Computers in 1992. "We're still not anywhere near where we want to be or need to be, but we're improving our processes continuously and we're learning from our mistakes." As part of its program to regain the lead in technology, Gateway released a notebook computer, called the Handbook, which weighed 2.7 pounds, in 1992. Rather than trying to manufacture this new technology itself, Gateway had the Handbook made by another company. Gateway also moved to diversify its marketing strategy. Rather than assuming that all customers had the same needs, good value for a good price, the company set out to target the special needs of different segments of the market. "You won't see us introducing separate product lines, but you will see us doing separate sales and marketing efforts and a different level of customization," Waitt told Marketing Computers. By the end of 1992, Gateway's sales had reached $1.1 billion, an increase of 76% over the previous year. At a time when other computer makers were reporting losses, Gateway's earnings reached $1.1 million, as the company took the lead in the mail-order computer business. Gateway's 1,500 employees were supplemented by 200 new hires at the end of 1992. These new workers were assigned to bolster Gateway's sales and support staff in hopes of alleviating some of the company's growing pains. The push to augment Gateway's staff came as the company discovered that finding and training a large number of technical support and computer assembly workers in the middle of South Dakota was not an easy task. Growing pains in the early 1990s. Starting in late 1992, Gateway found itself deluged by a wide variety of customer complaints, alleging problems ranging from delays in delivery to improperly constructed computers. Gateway buyers complained that the company's quality control had fallen apart, and that its efforts to address complaints were inadequate. The company blamed the shortcomings on extremely high demand for its products in the final quarter of 1992, which made it impossible for all orders to be filled. Although Gateway's revenues for the first 3 months of 1993 remained strong, as the company moved to clear its back orders, during the second quarter the company reported its first drop in revenues. The slowdown was attributed to the company's quality control problems, and also to its aging merchandise, which needed to be updated with new products. Gateway responded with a color notebook computer and a sub-notebook based on a new computer chip, which had previously been in limited distribution. In the fall of 1993, Gateway's competitors began an effort to capitalize on its problems. The Dell Computer Corporation started an ad campaign boasting performance that blows the gates off Gateway. In addition, the company faced growing competition in the mail-order field from industry giants such as IBM. To protect Gateway's market share, and to ensure future growth, the company made plans to move more aggressively into the corporate market, and to enter foreign markets. To increase the company's corporate sales beyond their 1992 level of 40%, Gateway formed a major accounts team, headed by a former IBM employee. The company's technical support staff was doubled to more than 400. And its online technicians were doubled to 14, in order to better service corporate clients. Late in 1993, Gateway inaugurated a separate phone line to provide support services to companies, in which each company was assigned its own personal service representative. During this time, Gateway also opened its campaign to move into the European market. Previously, foreign sales had accounted for just 3% of the company's revenues. In early October, Gateway opened a headquarters in Dublin, Ireland, with sales, marketing, support, and manufacturing facilities. From this base, the company began to sell mail-order computers in Britain. In the future, the company intended to branch out into France and Germany. This plan, however, was complicated by well-established competitors and by the need to customize both machines and marketing programs for each country. Both Gateway's corporate sales initiative and its expansion into Europe brought with them higher costs than the company had experienced in its South Dakota sales and marketing operations. In an effort to offset the impact of those expenses, Gateway surprised Wall Street by unexpectedly announcing its intention to sell to the public in October 1993. In December 1993, Gateway went public, raising $150 million through the sale of 10.9 million shares, which accounted for 15% of the company. Waitt and his brother retained the other 85% of Gateway. With this infusion of capital, the company planned to finance current operations, as well as its European push, and also to expand its range of products to include printers, networking products, fax modems, and software. In addition, Gateway announced that it would consider the acquisition of other companies in its field. In the spring of 1994, Gateway moved to further enhance its corporate marketing effort. The company announced a multifaceted overhaul of its support operations to placate disgruntled customers and win new ones. This program involved a 2-year extension of Gateway's 1-year warranty, 24-hour-a-day phone lines for technical support, and 1-day delivery for replacement parts. In May 1994, the company announced that it would continue to provide technical support free of charge, despite the fact that several of its competitors had begun to charge for this service. In 1995, Gateway continued to grow, announcing plans to build an $18 million manufacturing plant in Hampton, Virginia, and acquiring 80% of an Australian computer maker, Osborne Computer Corporation. Revenues for the year were up again, to $3.7 billion, an increase of $1 billion over 1994. The year 1995 also saw a manufacturing plant opened in Malaysia to serve Far Eastern markets and establishment of the company's website at Gateway.com. Early in 1996, the company tried its hand at a new product, the Destination 2000, a combination PC and widescreen TV. It was designed to be used as a home entertainment center that could also be linked to the internet. Initial sales were slow, but the company had purposely invested a minimal amount in research and development. After a few months of barely perceptible sales, Gateway announced plans to offer destinations through such retail outlets as Nobody Beats the Wiz and CompUSA. The price was also dropped by over 20%. During this year, a small number of Gateway country stores were also opened in suburban locations. These stocked no merchandise, but were intended mainly to offer first-hand contact with the company's products. Computers were still ordered over the telephone and shipped directly to the customer. Within the next 2 years, over 140 country stores were opened. Also, in 1996, Gateway enhanced its website to allow customers to configure, order, and pay for a personal computer online. With Gateway's success came increased interest from other companies bent on acquisition. In early 1997, a $7 billion purchase offer from Compaq Computer Corporation was nearly finalized before being rejected by CEO Waitt. In May, the company switched its stock listing from the Nasdaq to the New York Stock Exchange. A month later, Gateway purchased Advanced Logic Research Incorporated, a producer of server computers for business applications, for $196.4 million. This move was part of a newly intensified effort by the company to seek a larger share of the business computer market, as penetration of home PCs reached near saturation levels. Later in the year, the company announced further measures to increase corporate sales, including removing the ubiquitous cows from its advertising in an attempt to refine its image. Gateway also formed a new subsidiary, Gateway Major Accounts, which focused on sales to business. The company concluded 1997 with record revenues of $6.29 billion and profits of over $1 billion. As the price war and decline in home PC shipments continued, sales plummeted further in 2002, dropping to $4.17 billion. PC unit sales fell to 2.75 million from the previous year's 3.4 million. Gateway's share of the US PC market dropped to 6.1%, down from 9.3% at the end of 1999. Gateway fell short in its attempt to counter the PC decline with a push into consumer electronics, such as plasma televisions and digital cameras. The company slashed its payroll by a further 2,500 employees as part of another restructuring that involved the closure of 19 additional stores, 2 telephone call centers, an engineering operation, and an internet sales site. Pre-tax restructuring charges amounted to $109 million, contributing to a net loss for the year of $297.7 million. Gateway's stock ended 2002 trading at just $3.14 per share. In January 2003, Gateway launched yet another restructuring to close 76 of its remaining 268 retail stores, resulting in the dismissal of 1,900 more employees. In April, the company was forced to make another restatement of its past financial results, admitting that it overstated its revenue for 1999 through 2001 by $476 million. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, followed up with a lawsuit filed in November 2003 that accused former CEO Waitt, former CFO John J. Todd, and former Controller Robert D. Manza of fraud, lying to auditors, and other violations of securities law. The three were charged with inflating revenue during 2000, when Gateway began struggling to meet analysts' expectations. The company itself reached a settlement with the SEC on charges of filing false statements and misleading investors, by agreeing to not violate securities laws in the future. No fine was levied on Gateway. Further changes came on the internet front in 1999. Early in the year, Gateway introduced a new offer whereby anyone buying a Gateway PC costing more than $1,000 could get 1 year of free internet service via gateway.net. More than a third of Gateway PC buyers were soon signing up for the service, pushing the subscriber base to 600,000 by October 1999. That month, however, Gateway entered into an alliance with America Online Incorporated, through which AOL took over the operations of Gateway.net and invested $800 million in Gateway for a 5% stake. Among the other terms of the deal, Gateway computers began prominently placing the AOL online service on their desktop screens, and AOL began promoting Gateway computers on its various online properties. In December 1999, Waitt stepped down as CEO, remaining chairman, while Waitt was promoted to president and CEO. For the year, Gateway posted record profits of $427.9 million on record revenues of $9.6 billion. The astounding rise of Gateway came to a crashing halt in 2000 when the global PC industry fell into its worst slump ever. Gateway was hit hard because of its greater reliance on the consumer and small business markets, the hardest hit sectors, and because of questionable management decisions. Soon after taking over, Waitt began pushing aside old-time Gateway managers and instituted a number of new policies that hurt not only morale but also the bottom line. Waitt also muddied the company's distribution strategy by launching deals to sell Gateway PCs through retail channels. He also opened up 100 more Gateway retail stores in the United States. When arch-rival Dell instituted a price war in an ultimately successful attempt to grab more market share during the PC downturn, Gateway took a heavy blow and ended up suffering a fourth quarter 2000 net loss of $94.3 million. For the year, net profits fell 26% to $316 million, a figure revised downward to $241.5 million. In January 2001, Waitt, a largely hands-off chairman but one who had grown increasingly concerned about the deteriorating situation at the company he had built, reassumed the CEO position, ousting Waitt and several other top managers. In addition to restating downward the financial results for 2000, Waitt launched a thorough restructuring, brought back a number of old-timers, and adopted a back-to-basics approach, re-emphasizing Gateway's core business of selling PCs directly to consumers and businesses. Toward the latter end, prices were slashed, in some cases matching Dell's as well as those of the newly bolstered Hewlett-Packard, which acquired Compaq during this period. Cost-cutting initiatives during 2001 were massive. The workforce was reduced from 24,600 to 14,000 as U.S. call center facilities were consolidated, 33 retail stores in the United States and 11 in Canada were closed, manufacturing plants in Lake Forest, California, Ireland, and Malaysia were shut down, and substantially all of the company's international operations were shuttered in order to focus exclusively on the U.S. market. Gateway also moved its headquarters to Poway, a San Diego suburb, during 2001. Special charges for the year totaling $1.1 billion led to a net loss of $1.03 billion. Revenues plunged 38%, from $9.6 billion to $5.94 billion. As the price war and decline in home PC shipments continued, sales plummeted further in 2002, dropping to $4.17 billion. PC unit sales fell to 2.75 million from the previous year's 3.4 million. Gateway's share of the US PC market dropped to 6.1%, down from 9.3% at the end of 1999. Gateway fell short in its attempt to counter the PC decline with a push into consumer electronics, such as plasma televisions and digital cameras. The company slashed its payroll by a further 2,500 employees as part of another restructuring that involved the closure of 19 additional stores, 2 telephone call centers, an engineering operation, and an internet sales site. Pre-tax restructuring charges amounted to $109 million, contributing to a net loss for the year of $297.7 million. Gateway's stock ended 2002 trading at just $3.14 per share. In January 2003, Gateway launched yet another restructuring to close 76 of its remaining 268 retail stores, resulting in the dismissal of 1,900 more employees. In April, the company was forced to make another restatement of its past financial results, admitting that it overstated its revenue for 1999 through 2001 by $476 million. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, followed up with a lawsuit filed in November 2003 that accused former CEO Waitt, former CFO John J. Todd, and former controller Robert D. Manza of fraud, lying to auditors, and other violations of securities law. The three were charged with inflating revenue during 2000, when Gateway began struggling to meet analysts' expectations. The company itself reached a settlement with the SEC on charges of filing false statements and misleading investors, by agreeing to not violate securities laws in the future. No fine was levied on Gateway. After 3 straight years in the red, Gateway shifted gears in 2004. The company announced in January that it had agreed to buy the privately held eMachines for 50 million shares of Gateway stock and $30 million cash. When completed in March 2004, the deal was valued at nearly $300 million. Under the leadership of Wayne Inoue, President and CEO of the low-cost computer marketer since February 2001, eMachines had enjoyed 9 straight profitable quarters through relentless cost-cutting and improvements in product quality and customer service. All of eMachines' computers were manufactured by third-party contractors, and they were sold through retail outlets, including Best Buy, Circuit City, CompUSA, Costco, Fry's, Sam's Club, and Walmart stores. By early 2004, eMachines had captured 25% of the U.S. retail PC market. The company also distributed its products overseas through retailers in Japan, the United Kingdom, and Western Europe. Founded in 1998 and based in Irvine, California, eMachines had about $1.1 billion in sales in 2003. At the time of its acquisition by Gateway, it employed only about 140 people. By acquiring eMachines, Gateway jumped back up to the number 3 position among US PC companies with a market share of nearly 7% and ranked as the 8th largest player in the world market. Upon completion of the deal, Inoue, who before joining eMachines had served as Senior Vice President of Computer Merchandising at Best Buy from 1995 to 2001, was named President and CEO of Gateway. Waitt remained Chairman. Several top executives at eMachines took similar positions at Gateway. Further evidence of the demachining of Gateway came in April 2004 when the company announced that it would close its remaining Gateway country retail stores, dismiss their 2,500 employees, and shift to selling Gateway computers through third-party retailers, thereby adopting the eMachine approach. Direct selling via call centers and the internet would nevertheless continue. Coupled with a previously announced cut of 1,000 jobs, mostly in manufacturing and support operations in Iowa and South Dakota, the workforce would thereby be trimmed to about 4,000 workers. Furthermore, Gateway also announced in April that it would close down its head office in Poway and move to California's Orange County, where eMachines was based. Further workforce reductions, perhaps reducing the payroll to around 2,000, seemed imminent as Gateway continued to adopt eMachines' low-cost model in its latest attempt to return to profitability. Inoue left Gateway in February 2006, by which point the company employed roughly 1,800, down from 7,500 at the start of his tenure. In fall 2006, Gateway briefly revitalized its United States manufacturing presence with the opening of the Gateway Configuration Center in Nashville, Tennessee. It employed over 300 people in that location to assemble build-to-order desktops, laptops, and servers. In August 2007, Acer Incorporated of Taiwan announced the acquisition of Gateway Incorporated for a $710 million tender offer. The acquisition was finalized in October 2007. In the interim, MPC Corporation announced that it had inked a deal to acquire Gateway's professional services unit, which manufactured and designed the company's servers, network-attached storage devices, and workstations, for approximately $90 million. This MPC deal was also finalized in October 2007. All computer under the Gateway name were all ended to focus on the Acer branding. This marked the end of Gateway Computer as a corporation. In September 2020, 13 years after it acquired Gateway, Acer revived the Gateway branding on laptops and tablets sold exclusively through Walmart. Acer commissioned Morn Technology, a Shenzhen-based technology company, to manufacture and sell these Gateway-branded laptops. The new line of laptops is a rebadging of Walmart's existing EVO branded laptops. The laptop sound systems are tuned in partnership with THX.
Most low-priced computer ads include legal type, like this, to let you know about all the wonderful things you won't be getting with your computer. Now this system includes everything you need to get started: printer, monitor, and software. It's only $14.99 plus shipping and tax. And best of all, it's from Gateway. Gateway computers feature Intel Pentium processors. Call us at 1-800-GATEWAY and we'll build one for you.
If you have any fond memories, please indicate it at the comments below. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and like.